What's up there, YouTube friends? Chetter here, back with another video. First off, I hope you are doing well. I hope you have a great day, and I hope everything is going well for you. Thank you for joining me for this video. This is going to be a quick review and more so a discussion of the movie Sinners. Sinners is a new movie with a lot of hype to it. It's directed by Ryan Coogler, who is mostly known for the Black Panther movies and also the first Creed movie. I've seen some of those other movies, but I was excited to go into this one because it just seemed interesting. I like vampire movies. It's part of the premise that this is a vampire movie. So here in the beginning, normally in my channel, I do just typical movie reviews, right? But in this video, I want to try something a little different, and I would like to talk about more of the emotional core or the message that the story is really trying to tell, basically. So I'll give my review, my thoughts in the beginning here, so you can tell if I recommend the movie and if I think it's worth your time. And then I'll go into the spoiler discussion. So just be warned that there will be spoilers in the last half, but that's going to be a bulk of the video here. So for my quick review of the movie, I would give it, I'm feeling a B+. I really liked the movie, but I didn't love it at the same time. So I thought it was pretty well done, very well done even. There's a lot to like in the movie. I think the biggest thing holding it back for me was that even though the runtime feels appropriate, it's about 2.5 hours, it does feel like it drags at certain parts, or there could be more information to put into the story, a little bit more going on in a way, because some of the time, I guess in a way, doesn't feel wholly utilized, where there's parts where things feel like they're just kind of dragging out. And this is sprinkled throughout the movie. I would say most of the movie is necessary to see, and it's not like the movie really wastes time. It's just what it's showing you, it's going about at a very steady pace, and it does work to build up the movie towards the end. But at the same time, it felt like it dragged at parts to me. It felt longer than it should, but it was still a good movie, and I still really liked it. The characters were good, the story was good. I like the vampires, so it's a B+. For me, I would recommend it. I think you should go see it. I think it's worth a movie ticket purchase. I don't think you're going to regret it. But it's B+. I didn't love it. I thought it was very good. So that'll conclude my review of the movie, and if I recommend it. Now I can move on to what I really want to talk about, the core of the movie, right? So I'm just going to give you a spoiler warning again. It's been a while since I've brought up my spoiler cat here, so we're going to bring up the spoiler cat for the spoiler warning. Okay, we ready? Let's go. Spoiler cat, watch out for the spoiler cat. Let's go. Spoiler cat, here come the spoilers. So now with the spoiler cat out of the way, we can get into the details of the movie and what I think this movie is about. So just to give a quick summary of the story, right, so we're on the same page. In Sinners, two twin brothers, they purchase a barn. They're planning on using the barn to throw as a business to host these debauchery type parties. And so that's the story. And then vampires attack, right? Vampires attack the barn. That's the gist of the story of Sinners. And so what do I think the story is about? Yes, it's about the brothers, and on a surface level, it's about the vampires attacking. But what I think at a core, right, what the movie is about is the manipulative nature of evil, and how evil lies to you and works its way into your life and to trap you. And I think that's what's really represented and portrayed in this movie. What's used to portray that is the vampires, right? And when the vampires do finally attack the barn, when you get to that point, maybe halfway through the movie or 2/3 in, the vampires, I loved how the vampires didn't just break down the doors. There was a mechanism to how they worked. They had to trap their victim. And I know not all spiders are like this, but just in an analogy, it felt like the workings of a spider, where a spider won't just typically catch its prey or just jump on its prey. There's an involvement of a web, right? The spider has to trap its prey. Once the prey is caught in the web, the spider spins it in I can't remember the web cocoon name. It's not a cocoon, but the spider spins it into a web, into a web cone trap, and then the spider consumes it from there. So there's a process to the workings of it. Now, I don't think spiders are evil, right? Spiders are cool. The spiders kill mosquitoes, and mosquitoes are the bane of life. So mosquitoes are the devil, right? Mosquitoes are the devil. So good on spiders, all right? I'm just using a comparison. Then I think the evil in general, and in this movie, the vampires, there's a process. They have almost rules to how it works, and it can't just attack you, right? It can't just punch you. That's not what's going to make you join its side. There's an entrapment nature to it that has to be fulfilled, and that's, I want to say, what the evil cares more about is entrapping you. And that's what I loved, what was represented in the movie, because I'm an atheist. I don't believe in any in the devil or spiritual evil in a spiritual force sense, right? But I do believe in evil in terms of conduct, or in terms of actions, right? I think certain things can just be described and just are, that is evil. That is what we call evil. And so how does evil sneak into our lives? And to use me as an example, I'm an ex-alcoholic, or I haven't drank alcohol in 8 years or something now, so it's been a while, but I had an alcohol problem, right? And so alcohol had different ways of lying to me, just like the vampires did in this movie. The vampires in Sinners, they promise false promises of love, of family, of unity. We're just gonna sing folk songs out in the cornfield and everything, and we're just gonna do Celtic dances or Celtic dances and just sing these goofy river, folk songs. And so it was these promises of love and of happiness. And with a keen eye, you have to use your eyes and almost all of your other senses to observe the nature of evil, and you could see the hungry eyes that they're it's only after your blood. That's it. It wants your blood, and it wants your blood as part of its cult in a way. It's not an actual cult, okay? I just mean that in its brood. So evil does work like that, and the movie in a way is about how evil only leads to more evil, and if you let a little bit of evil in, you risk letting more evil in. And part of this is said in the beginning of the movie when Preacher Boy's Sammy's dad says, if you go out dancing with the devil, you might bring the devil home with you. And luckily for Sammy, the devil doesn't come home with him, but he's like the sole survivor, one of the only two survivors of the vampire attack. In my favorite movie of all time, No Country for Old Men, there's a line that's said in that movie that always haunts me in a way. It's so little, but it means so much, and it's so clear. But it's just, beer leads to more beer. That's literally the line. Beer only leads to more beer. And that line always sat with me, because it just feels like the evil or the temptation that you're experiencing is only going to lead to more of itself, right? So if the evil for you, like the evil for me is alcohol. So if I go out with friends and I say, okay, I'm just going to have one drink tonight, right? I might risk bringing the devil home with me, and I might risk then corrupting everything that I've built and everything that I've worked for. And I think it's the point of this movie of Sinners, is that evil is manipulative and will only lead to more evil. And it's particularly going to lie to you and give you these false promises of hope and of happiness. And you have to use a keen eye to see that the actions are speaking louder than the words. If someone was stealing from your wallet and they're telling you that you're their best friend at the same time, and that they love you and that they appreciate you, their words are kind, but the actions are evil. And this movie is sort of showcasing that, the manipulative entrapment nature of evil, where it's just there to lie to you and to trick you, and it's out for your blood. And I think evil will manifest in the world in different ways. Like, what would be evil for you is different than what would be evil for me. So you have to use your senses and actually be smart and ask yourself, is this the evil that's going to tempt me right now? And it's up to you to basically draw the boundaries, and you have to obey the rules and not let it in. Never let it in, and don't go out to it, right? So I guess to break down the movie a little further, where it kind of loses me is that it was Sammy's blues music that brings in the vampires, right? That Sammy's blues music is what lures in the vampires and attracts the vampires. And it was just funny to me because in a way that kind of implies that blues music is the devil's music, and that blues music will attract evil. And that thought's kind of crazy to me, because the blues music is about those people seeing about their struggles and the hard times of living in the deep South during racist times and everything. And blues music is not devil music. And instead, I would say KKK music, if there's any KKK music, I don't even know, but that would be more so the devil's music, right? So the movie, with its implication there, maybe gets a little not breakdown, but a little not as strong. But I just read it as the blues in the party was the partying of that lifetime, right, of that era. So just substitute blues with raves right now or something, or just EDM debauchery parties, right, where people are going to dance clubs and just getting lost on acid and stuff and don't know what's happening. It's just something like that, right? I think what the movie is talking about is in a way largely analogy, where it's not saying blues music is the devil's music. It's just saying going out and partying is in neglecting the good things in your life is the temptation, or the evil will find ways to sneak in there. And of course, in the movie, the good thing that Sammy is sort of neglecting is his church duties. The movie showing that by Sammy neglecting his church duties and going and focusing on partying, even if it's for one night, he might let the devil in, right? The temptations might ruin his life. And I think that's sort of what it's showing. The funny part is Sammy doesn't even really neglect his church duties. He says he's going to be at the sermon on Sunday morning. He just wants to go play his blues at this particular party. And honestly, what he's doing is not evil in any way. And Sammy and those people did not deserve the vampire attack. But I think, again, it's not so much that the people are being punished, the people in the barn are being punished. It's that I think the story is that if you go out and risk, you even have one night of partying, right? You risk really bad things happening to you, and you need to instead stay focused on the good things in your life and not dance with the devil, right? And don't make any deals with the devil. And I can talk about the very ending here, because the very ending kind of offset me about the movie. I didn't like that if you stay past some of the credits and you see the very end, you see an older Sammy and some of the vampires come and talk to him. And I did not like that the vampires were on talking terms with Sammy. It really defeated, in a way, the message for me that of just how evil is, manipulative. It still is, but what I mean is that Sammy, there was a deal, right? There was a deal with the vampires for the vampires to not hurt Sammy. And I did not like that there was essentially a deal with the devil that was made, or a deal with evil that was made, because in my opinion, like with alcohol, I'm not going to make any of those deals. I'm not going to make those compromises. I've set up the boundary of it is not welcome into my life. So when alcohol is knocking on my barn, I'm never letting it in. I'm not handing it any money. I'm not making any trades with it. It is banned from my barn. So that's sort of what I mean. And I did not like that at the very end of the movie that there's a deal with evil that happened. And I guess in one way it was to save someone, but I just feel like evil won't really respect your deals and will instead trap you. And so I don't feel like there should have been any deal that was made. I think that one of the twin brothers should kill the other twin brother. And maybe if you have the kind of jump scare where the female vampire is alive at the end, and it's, a bit cliche, I would have preferred that, right? I did not like that there was a deal with the vampires. It really kind of, ruined the story for me, but it didn't affect my score or really my viewing experience too much. The bulk of the movie, I loved. I just didn't like the very ending and the reveal of the deal. But I do think that this movie is about how evil will lie to you and to all of us. And I don't mean that in a spiritual force way. I just mean almost in a way of just temptations of vices, right? So watch out for the temptations of vices and try to use your senses. Excuse me, I'm really congested right now. And try to use your senses to tell if this is something that's tricking you or not. Are you being lied to? Can you see the evil intent in the eyes or in the heart of the thing that's conversing with you, that's talking to you in these nice things? In one, I feel like this could show up in so many different ways with someone trying to sell you something, or even you could say that a lot of the email scams are like this, right? Where, hey, you won this money. I'm trying to send you this money. Give me your information and I'll send you this money. That's evil. That is a form of evil. So just be aware of the temptations of evil. Set up your boundaries and, love your barn. That's what I think the message sort of the story is. So, and love the good things in your house, not necessarily your debauchery barn. I just mean that when I say your barn, I mean almost like your spiritual house, your soul, what you're letting into your place. So anyway, that's enough for me rambling with this. If you enjoyed hearing me talk about this, let me know in the comments, because I want to do more videos where I'm talking about the emotional core of the story too. So if you thought I was wrong about any of this, be sure to let me know so I can hear what you think the correct point of the story is. I'm willing to talk it out. So just be sure to leave a comment if you agree or disagree, and like and subscribe if you want to. That helps me out a lot. But thank you very much for listening. I hope you have a great and a beautiful day. That'll conclude this video, but thank you for your time. Chetter out. Goodbye.